Hi, folks. Last week we talked a little bit about rhyme scheme. We talked about perfect rhymes and why poets may choose to use them in their writing. And so I wanted to give a little bit of a companion piece to that since we're looking at some poems this week that are in what they call free verse. And free verse is exactly that. It is free. It is not constrained by the rhyme schemes and syllable patterns that we are used to seeing with some of the poems that we've looked at previously. And so this reminder for you will be shorter, and that's probably a good thing. But free verse is non-metrical. In other words, poets have not counted syllables to try to make sure that each line has the same number of syllables. It will not rhyme, which is a nice thing as well, because the goal of a non-rhyming poem or a free verse poem is to mimic natural rhythms of speech. In other words, it sounds more like talking rather than the sing-song cadence that comes with a perfectly rhymed poem. So a poet, again, you'll see that there are a couple of prominent names there for poets who played more with a free verse type of style. And you probably studied Walt Whitman when you were a junior, or you will when you're going to be a junior, with Mr. Vermilion and Mr. Overton. And one of the other things that I just kind of wanted to stress for you is typically free verse is more prominent in writers that are writing in the 20th century and beyond, which is kind of important when we think about why a poet may choose free verse as opposed to a very specific and controlled rhyme scheme. It suggests a little more immediacy. And what I mean by immediacy is that as the poet was writing, sometimes a poem in free verse is written because the poet was inspired in that moment, felt something very powerful in their gut or in their heart, and they didn't want to contain that while they tried to figure out rhymes. It may just be that they felt it in the moment and they just needed to get the words on the page. It also suggests a little bit more informality. So that can be a couple of things. That could suggest that the poet wants to create a more personal connection with the reader. It may suggest a more intense desire to communicate their thoughts more quickly. Those are not the only reasons. I think the important thing to remember is that anything that shows up on this slide is showing up largely just to give you some ideas that may percolate and may help you also think about why a poet may have chosen to write in free verse versus rhyme, or vice versa. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you think about the poems that we're tackling this week, because they are in free verse. They are pretty powerful. And as with anything, you're always welcome to shoot me a text, ask me a question, throw your thoughts out there. I love to hear them. So I hope you're having a great day, and I will talk to you later.